Welcome to Colonize the Ocean podcast, where we discuss oceanic colonization, exploration, and education with your hosts Adam Jewell and Brendan Traxler.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've got some really interesting material lined up for today.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
It's all about the ocean,
Right.
and specifically a place called the Blindspot Zone.
Okay.
So you know that stat everyone always throws around about how like only 5% of the ocean's been explored?
Right.
Well, it turns out a big chunk of that unexplored territory, it's in this Blindspot Zone. And
it's not just empty space down there either. Right?
exactly. That's what's so fascinating.
We're talking significant portions of the world's coral reefs. I mean, huge stretches of continental shelf.
Whoa, hold on. Back up a sec. You're saying like this Blindspot Zone?
Yeah, between 50 and 200 meters deep.
Okay.
That area, it's got more than just reefs. We're talking an underwater area bigger than Russia and Canada combined.
Wow. Okay, that puts it in perspective for sure.
Right.
But if it's not that deep down, why is it so hard to explore?
Well, that's kind of the thing. It's like this in-between zone.
Right.
Light can still reach down there, so it's not like the deep, deep ocean. But our traditional methods, they kind of hit their limits in the blind spot.
So submersibles are out of the question. I mean, they can go anywhere, right?
But they can go there, sure, but the cost is astronomical. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars per day.
Yikes. So what about divers? Can't they just, swim down and check things out?
It's not that simple. Time becomes a huge factor.
How so?
The deeper you go, the less time you can spend down there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like holding your breath for longer and longer. Eventually, you got to come up for air.
But divers have oxygen tanks.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But it's not just about air, it's the pressure. Risk of decompression sickness if you stay down too long.
So it's a race against the clock.
Pretty much.
Starting to see why it's called the blind spot if we can't really get down there easily.
Exactly. And we're talking 96% of coral reefs are in the zone.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, those reefs could hold all sorts of secrets, like new medicines, potentially cures for diseases we struggle with today.
Okay, now you've got my attention. New medicines just waiting to be discovered. Fascinating.
And remember those continental shelves I mentioned?
Those massive underwater landscapes?
Exactly. Well, they're teeming with life stuff we haven't even encountered yet. Potential for new species resources, who knows what else.
It's like we're standing at the edge of a hidden world, tantalizing but out of reach.
Well, maybe not entirely out of reach.
Yeah.
There are other ways to explore the blind spot besides submersibles and diving.
Oh, really? Like what?
There's this technique called saturation diving. It's mostly used by industries like oil and gas.
Saturation diving, what's that all about?
So it involves divers living in a pressurized environment for extended periods. This lets them stay underwater for much longer.
Okay, I'm picturing like some kind of underwater base camp.
Kind of, yeah, more like a specialized chamber, really.
Yeah.
A metal tube, essentially. It's not exactly spacious or comfortable.
Sounds intense, so they just hang out in this tube for days or weeks at a time.
Yeah. It's a testament to human endurance, for sure. Think of those experiments from way back in the 60s, like Sea Lab and Con Shelf.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those.
They proved it was possible to live underwater for extended periods, but applying that to scientific research, well, that's a whole other challenge.
Right, I can imagine. Trying to conduct complex experiments in a cramped metal tube underwater.
It's not ideal, that's for sure, but it is an option.
So we've got these options, each with its own set of hurdles.
Yep, that's the reality of exploring the blind spot. It's not easy, but the potential rewards are huge.
Definitely makes you wonder if there's a better way, a more effective way to really unlock the secrets of this hidden world.
You and me both. And that actually leads us to some really exciting developments, a group that's pushing the boundaries of what's possible in ocean exploration.
Oh, now you've got me intrigued. Tell me more.
They're called Deep, and they're working on a game changer, a completely new way to explore the blind spot.
Yo, I'm hooked. What's Deep's approach? What are they doing differently?
Well, instead of just trying to improve existing technology, they're developing something entirely new, an underwater habitat called Sentinel.
Wait, an underwater habitat. You're talking about scientists living on the seabed for extended periods.
Exactly. It sounds like science fiction, right?
It does, but that's also what makes it so fascinating. What could this mean for ocean exploration?
It could be a revolution. Think about it. No more short dives with limited time. Researchers could actually live in the blind spot, immersed in their research environment.
So instead of just rough glimpses, we'd have constant observation, the ability to study these ecosystems and organisms over days, weeks, even months.
Precisely. The potential is mind-boggling. We could finally start to unravel the complex web of life in the blind spot, how these ecosystems function, how they interact with the rest of the ocean.
And imagine the impact on our understanding of climate change. We'd have a front row seat to see how these ecosystems are being affected.
Absolutely. We could monitor changes in real time, track fish populations, study the effects of pollution. The data we could gather would be invaluable.
It's incredible to think about all the possibilities. But I have to ask, what are the challenges of building something like Sentinel? It can't be easy.
Oh, it's a monumental undertaking for sure. They need to create a self-sustaining life support system that can function perfectly in a high-pressure, corrosive environment.
Wow. So we're talking about power communications,
Yeah.
waste management. Every aspect has to be engineered for a completely alien world.
Exactly. It's like building a miniature city underwater. And then there's the human factor to consider.
Oh, right. What kind of person can handle living in an isolated underwater habitat for months on end?
That's a crucial question. You'd need individuals who are not only brilliant scientists, but also incredibly resilient, adaptable, able to handle the psychological challenges of living in such a unique environment.
True pioneers pushing the boundaries of human endurance and our understanding of what we're capable of.
It really highlights how exploring the ocean isn't just about technology. It's about pushing those boundaries, both technological and human.
We've talked a lot about the why and the how of exploring the blind spot, the potential, the challenges, the solutions. But let's bring this back to our listener. Why should they care about scientists living in an underwater habitat? How does this connect to their life, to all our lives?
That's a great question, and one that goes beyond the immediate thrill of discovery. The ocean, it plays a vital role in all our lives, whether we realize it or not.
Right. It's easy to forget sometimes.
It regulates our climate, provides food resources, supports a web of life that we're only beginning to understand.
So by exploring the blind spot, we're not just satisfying scientific curiosity, we're gaining crucial knowledge about a system that directly impacts our survival.
Exactly. The blind spot isn't just some remote corner of the ocean, it's intricately connected to the health of the entire planet. And the more we understand it, the better equipped we'll be to address things like climate change, overfishing, pollution.
It's like trying to understand a car engine without knowing how all the parts work together. The blind spot is a missing piece of that puzzle, and unlocking its secrets could help us solve some of the biggest environmental problems we face.
Think of those coral reefs again. They're not just pretty. They're incredibly important for biodiversity, coastal protection, even the development of new medicines.
Right, we were just talking about that.
By studying them in their natural habitat, we gain insights that could have far-reaching benefits for human health and well-being.
It's amazing to think that something so seemingly remote could have such a huge impact on our lives.
It really does underscore how interconnected our planet is.
And it highlights the importance of investing in exploration, in pushing the boundaries of our knowledge.
Exactly. Deep's work with Sentinel, it's a testament to that spirit, a beacon of hope that we're not content to remain blind to the wonders that are out there.
It's inspiring to see that kind of dedication, that commitment to pushing the limits of what's possible. And it really makes you wonder what incredible discoveries await us down there in the blind spot.
Imagine uncovering new species with unique adaptations, finding solutions to environmental problems, maybe even discovering historical artifacts that rewrite our understanding of the past.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we live on a planet that still holds so much mystery, so much waiting to be explored.
And that sense of wonder, that drive to uncover the unknown, that's something truly special.
It's what drives us forward, pushes us to innovate and explore. And who knows what the future holds. Maybe in a future deep dive, we'll be discussing groundbreaking discoveries made possible by Sentinel discoveries that change how we see the ocean and our place in it.
That's a thought to hold on to, isn't it? The potential is vast and the journey is just beginning.
Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deeper into the wonders of our world.
Well said.
So we've got these options for exploring the blind spot, each with its own downsides. It makes you wonder if there's a better way, more effective way to unlock its secrets.
Well, that's the exciting part. There's this group really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Oh, yeah.
They're called Deep, and their work is really fascinating. They're kind of reimagining how we approach this zone.
Okay, now you've got me hooked. Tell me more about this Deep group. What are they doing differently?
So instead of just trying to improve existing technology, they're developing a completely new solution. It's called Sentinel.
Sentinel. What is that, some kind of new submersible?
Not exactly. It's an underwater habitat.
Hold on, an underwater habitat. You mean like scientists living on the seabed?
Yep, for extended periods. It sounds pretty sci-fi, doesn't it?
It does, but that's also what makes it so cool. If deep can actually pull this off, it could revolutionize ocean exploration.
No more quick dives, no more racing against the clock. Researchers could actually live in the blind spot immersed in their research environment.
Wow, that would change everything. Instead of just brief glimpses, we'd have constant observation.
Right, we could study these ecosystems and organisms over days, weeks, even months.
What kind of impact could that have on, say, our understanding of climate change?
Huge. We could monitor changes in real time, track fish populations, study the effects of pollution.
We'd have a front row seat to see how this zone is being affected.
Exactly. The data we could gather would be invaluable. And it's not just about the science either.
What do you mean?
Think about historical shipwrecks, for example. We could explore them, uncover stories and artifacts lost to time.
So Sentinel could open a window into our past as well as our future.
Precisely. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
It all sounds amazing, but let's be real. Building an underwater habitat like that can't be easy. What are some of the challenges Deep needs to overcome?
Oh, it's a huge undertaking, no doubt about it. For starters, they need to create a life support system that can function perfectly in a high-pressure corrosive environment.
Right, the ocean is pretty unforgiving.
Exactly. So we're talking about power communications, waste management. Every aspect has to be engineered for this totally alien world.
It's like building a miniature city on another planet, except it's underwater.
Pretty much. And then there's the human element, too.
Oh, right. What kind of person can handle living in an isolated underwater habitat for months at a time?
That's a key consideration. You'd need people who are not just brilliant scientists, but also incredibly resilient, adaptable, able to handle the mental and emotional challenges of living in such a unique environment.
True pioneers pushing the boundaries of human endurance.
It really makes you realize that exploring the ocean isn't just about technology. It's about pushing those boundaries, both technological and human.
We've talked a lot about the why and the how of exploring the blind spot, the potential for discoveries, the limitations of our current technology. This groundbreaking solution Deep is developing. But let's bring it back to our listener for a moment. Why should they care about scientists living in an underwater habitat? How does this connect to their life, to all our lives here on Earth?
Well, it's a good question, and it's about more than just, the excitement of discovery. The ocean, it really does play a huge role in all our lives.
Yeah, even if we don't always think about it.
Exactly. It regulates our climate, it provides food and resources, and it supports this incredible web of life that we're just starting to grasp,
So exploring the blind spot, it's not just about, scientific curiosity. It's about gaining knowledge that could be crucial for our own survival.
Right. The blind spot, it's not just some isolated part of the ocean. It's connected to everything. And the more we understand about it, the better we can tackle things like climate change, overfishing, pollution.
It's like we're trying to solve a puzzle, but we're missing a big piece. The blind spot is that missing piece, and figuring it out could be the key to solving some major environmental problems.
Think about those coral reefs we keep mentioning. They're not just beautiful to look at. They're essential for biodiversity, coastal protection, even developing new medicines.
Right, we talked about that earlier.
By studying them in their natural environment, we can gain insights that could have major benefits for human health and well-being.
It's kind of mind-blowing to think that something so seemingly far away could have such a huge impact on us.
It really shows how interconnected everything is on this planet.
And it underscores the importance of, investing in exploration and pushing the boundaries of what we know.
Absolutely. Deep's work with Sentinel, it's a great example of that spirit, this idea that we don't have to stay blind to what's out there.
It's inspiring to see that kind of dedication and commitment to pushing the limits. It makes you wonder what amazing things are waiting to be discovered down there.
Imagine uncovering new species with incredible adaptations, finding solutions to environmental problems, maybe even finding historical artifacts that change how we view the past.
So many possibilities. It reminds us that we live on a planet full of mystery and wonder.
And that drive to explore, to uncover the unknown, that's something truly special.
It's what pushes us forward, what inspires innovation and exploration. Who knows what the future holds? Maybe in a future deep dive, we'll be talking about the amazing discoveries made possible by Sentinel discoveries that change our whole understanding of the ocean and our place in it.
That's a great thought, isn't it? The potential is huge, and this journey of discovery is just beginning.
Until then, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deeper into the wonders of our world.